Samoa le nei tai au toa o se tai au matano fio fo ina mai fo ile atua e whapopo i asa lo tatu bolana. O le vaenga longa lua le nei po le season 2 le nei o le tatu prokalama masani o le Fale Lalaga ua saunia lea le ofisa o turisi po le ofisa foi o le tatu atunu ia lo ngafa matangata ta whao mai atu do mamao. E whamarulua te foi le tatu au mata mai le afiafi a wa loa foi masina ia maasa wale tu ina ati tatu pro kalama fo ia ono fuanga lava le tatu ofisa foi le fare televiste ia me se foi le ofisa ne o tuisi ia wa la foi na fatuai e fatai le tu le ia vanua o fa pena o to so o tatu pro kalama telefone ni se vala o mai tatu ofisa ia o le foi o to fa wai. Good morning, American Samoa, and welcome once again. This is season 2 of the Fale Lalaga talk show, sponsored by the American Samoa Visitors Bureau. You know, it's been 6 months since we last have our show on air, but we thank God for the opportunity that we have to reconnect again with KVCK TV, along with our office, to bring you this exciting program. Ia o le tai au nei o se tai au matano fie e tatou te whaasoa I fo I tāleni ma mea alofa mai le atua whangai tia lava le anganga ua whapena ona mafuta I fo I se tasi aro le atunu ia o le a tatou whaalongolongo I fo I ma ofa fo I le anganga I tāleni fo I mai le atua I le atali I le nei o Tala langa fuaina e sfulufao le tausanga ia o nofo I nei nuuli malona a inga. Ia o mai le Samoa Baptist School. Mau te loa to telefoi o to savar au mai tata ofisa. E winga lava le atali nei maltale fo nei e le tua ia. Our guest for this opening season number 2 for our program is none other than this young, talented artist, Tala Arts, who's 14 years old. He lives with his parents here in Nu'uli and goes to Samoa Baptist School. And I'm sure many of you called and said, "Oh boy, can you feature this young guy? He's an amazing artist." And then we thank God we finally got the opportunity to sit down with him. Good morning, Tala.
Good morning, Poe.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing well.
Okay. You know, a lot of people call and say, "Oh, you need to get this kid on this show." Are you excited or are you nervous?
Yes, I'm both right now.
Okay, you don't have to be. Let's start with everyone who has a talent need to start from somewhere. So you're 14 years old. When did you start with this? When did you know that you have this beautiful talent from God?
I think I started drawing and painting when I was younger, like all the way at 1. Like I would do this with my sister, and I would draw and we would paint. But I didn't know that it was something serious until I was about 5. At the age of 5, when I was at school, I drew the school campus, and my teacher was surprised that I drew the school campus so nicely. And ever since then, I continue to foster that and continue to.
But somebody gave you paint and brush to begin with, right?
Yes.
Who started that?
My mom.
Okay.
She bought brushes and pencils and all those things to help draw, and construction paper.
Construction paper. Do they still have that?
Yes,
construction paper?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember back in school, they still have that. Yeah, a little tattoo for my mind. Este le mana yo amatai no le leita le ni sa amatai le tuina to le tina. Yeah, Benivali or Balasi, Mavali, yeah, my paper for your construction paper. Yeah, amatai le ta le ni. Yeah, le la tattoo lua. Ta wa tele matua. Tala, how important is the support of your parents from the beginning? Now you're 14. How important is that to your line of work as an artist?
It's very important because even if they weren't here, I wouldn't even have the money to buy the canvases and the paint, and also the support to keep going and the critiques and all those things that go into the paint.
So you go to school in the morning, right?
Yes.
And then you come home. I'm sure you need to do your homework.
Yes.
When do you find the time to do all this?
I find like I sometimes I draw during lunch and break at school. I draw whenever I have the time that is free and open before I go to sleep. Sometimes I draw when I'm in the car, when I'm at the restaurant, at the store, everywhere.
So every time, when you have the time, you draw.
Yes.
So let's look at this one. How long would it take you to do that or complete that?
Probably about maybe an hour and a half. I think.
Whoa! Yeah, le lau tātou wawa ai mai. E maofa fo i le ananga le whaalongolongo fo i le atari. A whasua mai. Ia o tu inga atara ia wai tele lava i atara whapehara fo i ona whaaria tu tātou TV. Ia e pe you say what, 2 hours?
Yes.
Ia pe lua tu la, ia o le tele lava le nā, o le ngā lua i o tala iata ne. Yeah, Beirutula. I noticed this, and I know you're a young artist, but I also see some of the work that you've done on the table that represents nature, landscape. Which one is your favorite? I mean, do you like landscapes, or do you like nature, or you like different personalities? Do you have a special?
Yes, I do. I think I like drawing everything, but I think my favorite would be drawing like people.
People.
Yes, because people, you have to understand how the facial features and everything work.
And isn't that hard to do?
I like challenges.
Mm.
Yeah, the challenge is a nice thing to push yourself to keep doing.
Yeah, o le lau tātou whaalongolongo mai. E sere mana ia o le whaasoa mai fo ia rata li. Ia o le whaalongo atu e fia lava la ia e tusi pe e vali ata o tangata a. Ia o le tūlanga lava la na le fuitate ai mai luna ne. E se lava ia ata ese sa whapenana tusi le ata ia tala. Tala, what are some of the challenges you see, as a young artist in your line of work?
Well, I think some of the challenges have to do more with the exposure sort of side. It wasn't more before the challenge for me was like what I was going to paint and draw because there weren't many supplies on island to be able to draw, and also there's not enough programs that I've seen on this island. Yeah, those were some of the challenges, but it was able to work.
You mentioned something about one of the challenges is the art program in school, which is so true. I remember working with DOE many years ago, and there was a time that the federal government cut back on fine arts program and humanities program. So many times wale ai fo ni pro kalama fa pe nei pe tato fa fo ma fa ya tadi e ai na luenga fa artisi e ai ia pro kalama nei o drama pe ta fo tato performing arts e ai fo pro kalama ia o musika me uma la fa pena se ai fo se vai sa wa fa la titi pe to e se fo se tu pe tele mai prokalama nei tonu o a onga ia o le sile a lape fo ila wa ia ai le fa taila te li ia tala o lo fa waupi e ia nei taleni. The truth is we don't have too many art programs out in the schools, so this is a challenge, I think, not only for our government but also for our school system, because we need to have these courses. My friend Reggie is semi-retired. She's getting old. Sorry, Reggie. But ole lava to lava Reggie lava nei fa wa woni ta len ole winga la le tala. Ia mana o mia lava ia na develop for your talent fa pene and find now Tala, you know we're short of art teachers.
Yes.
Grown. Do you see yourself coming back home and teach art?
Maybe, yes, that will be one of the paths that I might take. Probably, I would be inspired by Reggie.
Oh,
That's a very
see
good
Reggie.
That's a, I think I would, yeah, and like teach the basics.
The basics. I read I read something about the background you did because Reggie used to do those big murals in the back for our musicals at the college, and you did one for a musical at your school.
Yes.
Can you share about that?
Yeah, it was an honor to be able to do that. Yeah. I like the feeling that I had painting that was really it was really satisfying to see the result at the end of the program. Yes. I actually worked on it with my fellow school person, at a student at the school, Daisy May. Me and her, or she's also an artist too. We help each other work on the painting and the big mural. Yes.
Ole mea foi leo matawina foi ia whafonga mai foi tato atunu. Wa te le lava ia nai artisi pe la tali nei a tala I tono tato atunu. O mea lava nei lewa wa fou foi le va ai wa iai ia nai whanau foi. Yeah, I miss it for the poeta. Maybe if you're a painter, you can also relate to photography. Yeah, well, I for to tele o nai tu planga Samoa. Well, I for la to fale poeta. You know, photography, and they go out and take pictures for weddings, graduation, and it all relates to art. Yeah, and if we lawa ya le tali ne. Yeah, if I've taye lava get to o le upu foi le tele I tale ni a tato I tono tato tunu. I mean, au mia lava le lango matua. Family is important. Parents are very important in this process. Tala, talk about teachers. Did you have an art teacher at school or?
Um, no.
So this was you discovered your own talent, and then you started to work on it. Yeah, oh, this is today's graduation. So you what, 8th grade or?
I just graduated.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah, wata umalava nei. Yeah, wata nei sa mia for elatali. So you're going to go into high school, right? Tala, there's a lot ahead of you. And we know something about artists. I'm an artist too, and sometimes we go astray or go out of the. Are you deciding to pursue this as a career in the future?
Yes, I would love to do that. If the funds and everything would work out, I would love to pursue art as a career in the future.
And did you know that you could make money as an artist?
Well, yes.
Well, that's something you and mom and dad would have to talk about because you're young. Yeah, see, yeah. Tato. So this is something I was talking about. I know Tala and most of the artists' money is not, the real purpose to paint, but money is good. Yeah, Lela Tato I may. Yeah, if I may love I oil wait out. But I mean, I was just asking Tala that, this is also something that could generate an income for him and the family. Because this is something that you're going to think about in the long run. Yeah, why maofale anganga toe baba ai ele mana nai o nei foi tu singa lilo I manatu e se nei American Samoa foi. Yeah, if I see ai foi I le anganga a why le watato ai le tūlanga fo I mane mawa e fo I tūlanga wai ai ia Yeah, that's a name. Tala, I don't know if you met Diana, who does this kind of painting with sessions.
Yes,
Yeah, o le si foi la ia, le tu ingata le, o saunia le. Have you done that or with a group of friends or?
yes, I have done that twice actually with our Flights from our church. Yes, and all the Flights from twice. Yes, the first time was during Christmas, and the second time was like sometime after Christmas. And it was a nice experience because I had to go out of my comfort zone to teach people how to paint. I don't think I've never done that in my whole life before, and when I did that, it felt like it was an interesting feeling to see other people had the same picture, and actually it turned out really nice.
I'm so happy to hear. It seems like you're a very confident young man.
Thank you.
Colors. Let's talk about colors. Well, I'm not an art critic, but what are some of the favorite colors that you use?
Well, right. Well, before during obviously September of last year, I liked green as the color you can see up here. Most of these pictures, but now I really like purple.
Oh, purple. Oh, good. I'm wearing purple. Purple.
Yeah, and like for colors for me, if I have a color on the picture, like say for example purple, there also has to be the opposite color on the other side. For example, this picture up here,
So what's the opposite color of purple?
like the orange, and the
Orange.
yellow, and the more warm colors,
Warm colors.
like
Oh. Yeah, le lau tatu whafonga me ngati nu. Iau te le lopo le ale whasamoa ina o le warm colors. Yeah, ayo lanu ma whanawhana. Yeah, iau tātou wai. E se fo le langona le tangata le whaatina ina le maruema. Yeah, pia tātou ai ma. Yeah. Ai fo le taimi e to o tele fo tātou. Yeah. E matua, yeah, pe wa tua i le loa kwa i ngā langu e whaonga. But now that we talk about those terms about and what are dark colors? Would be considered what?
dark colors, yes, because dark colors, um, it's warm colors and cool colors, and then on the other hand we have bright colors and dark colors. Those when you put those all together in the picture, it'll make the picture look nice and it'll pop out the picture. For example, the Fatima Futsu picture over here. See the warm colors of the sky is also in contrast to the cool colors of the ocean, and then the bright color of the other rock farther out is a contrast to the darker colors of the rock closer to us. So it'll bring out the picture more, and it'll make it more understandable to the eye.
So Tala, as an artist, you follow those rules of colors. Leo tatou whaafonga mai ia. Mana ia fo e whaalongo a wa o le tangata le fo e tusi ata. Ia e whaamaina fo ia ta iala fo i le whaamaina o lanu. Pe lan tatou whaalongo mai le whaamamla maina le atali ila atali i Fatima Futi. Ia pe o le lanu mawhanawhana po e warm colors ai lunga o le vani monimo ia o na so mai la ia pe o dark colors ia le lanu mea mata i le maunga le pito i tua ia e mai se le maunga le pito i luma. And I think it's important to follow those dynamics, right? If you understand the dynamics about art, painting, and any form of art. Yeah, ona e malamalama for ilula ia. Tana, I'm sure you know about, when you look at a picture, you would say, okay, can you, or you can also say the kind of personality, right, of a picture, right? Just by they like the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So when you think art does that, right? It has its own personality. Yeah, lela tama to atale tua I. I like this one. So you did this when you were five. So this is Tala. This is Manny. And this is it Tessa?
Yes.
Tessa. Okay. Talk about this one.
Well, that was one of the first pictures that I
Wow.
Yes. My mom actually kept it on the shelf for a long time. This has been one of like the example of where it all started.
Yeah.
See, so actually this picture was when I first started understanding that people's face weren't like a circle with white inside. So I tried to understand how I didn't understand why like our faces were that this color, and when I drew it on a paper it was white like the paper. So this was my experimenting with the colors, like we said before. Ever since I was little, I would experiment with the concepts and the colors, trying to understand how.
You did read a book about art,
No, actually.
about painting or drawing. This is amazing. Because sometimes we call these kids prodigies. Yeah, yeah, le sa no mai la tali. Ele ia I lava se mi pe sa o mai o ia pe faita wa yo is to see pe mata mata is to see. Ona au mai la yo manatu na to see it. So, if it wasn't from a book, if it wasn't from something external, do you think this is something that God has given or blessed you with?
Yes, it is. It's a gift that He has given to us. It's a blessing that He has given us. But then there's also another thing you have to keep in mind too. The blessing is from God, but if you don't pursue it, if you don't like listen into it, then it will never go.
Yeah, leo tatou whaafonga ai. O le saunoa mai ana tali, o le mea alofa. It's a gift from God. It's a talent from God. And He also added that, it's a blessing. And this is the part that I like. If you don't use it, or if you don't share it, yeah, it might mouth all the time, then it might mouth manei mea uma, pe a fa pe e nofo lava o e malta then ai le fa soa. Ia e fa tai le tali ia tala e la titi ai le e manati te fa soa atu wai e fa pena uma lava tatou e se me alofa ia le tatou fa lomone. This is truly a gift from God.
Yes.
Ia o tatou fo I fa pe fia maua lava sa taleni pe o taleni tala ia ai ese malava tatou taleni o te loa foi o lea foi mata mai ni se tatou o lo ia foi na tatou taleni ia ai ta mo foi me foi fa pala ia lea la tatou loa ne ia o lo o tele lava le o ai tono tatou atinu e ala mai I tatou ainga o matua mafanau. So Tala, this is how it all started,
Yes.
right? And then right after you did this, you started thinking of doing the face, and it's different.
Yes. And I also went through multiple phases too. So in here, we have my picture from when I was in 2015, a drawing of cities and landscapes and colors and stuff like that. I would draw, and then also in third grade I actually really liked the Eiffel Tower as well, and I would draw the
Eiffel Tower
and the size and scale. And then I also as I grew older, I also figured the human figure too, and I liked the old school figures and the kings and queens.
Oh, the Mona Lisa.
Like that was in 2016.
So this was done.
2015.
Tala was a third grader with the Eiffel Tower, and then this was done in 2013. Skyscrapers, and then these two Um, you did this in the seventh grade,
Sixth grade.
sixth grade.
Yes.
Uh, and you could see the progression in terms of starting out with something like this, and then and going through that. Um, I'm glad you brought these two. That you showed me these. What do you think is what's your take? Uh, what's different between our Pacific kind of painting with European or the old masters, as they say?
Well, the difference I think is the like over here in the Pacific we have more like it's protected by our way of living. Our way of living
Mhm.
inspires the artwork
Wow,
versus
that's good.
in the European it was more of like they just pictures of themselves. They wanted pictures of life and everything. But here is we everything is connected with each other. It's tied together and all of our the artwork of the Pacific Islanders are connected to the way of living. The way of living inspires artwork, and the artwork inspires the way of living.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you read a lot? Do you have few art books? Do you go online and learn some?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, because remember back in these times, you have to sit for hours, right, for a self-portrait. Yeah, leo tato whalongo le whasoa mai ana tali. Yeah, e se foi tato nei American Samoa po le Pasifika. Awa e mafua foi ona whangaetia le artisi. O lona ia si o manga. Ja pe o leo langa ia sa uma fa Samoa. Ia po le ngatai whare foi se tulo. O le vao matua. Ia ma leo langa la me tono nu. Ia o le ema whai ai ona whawhausia ma whauwhanga o le au artisi. Mai nā tau fo e ronga lua ino le to e ngā tāle. Ia ma mawai la le whai unga la ne le o tātou mata mai ai. E se fo ino na ia la ngona e o mai e tātou pe a tātou mata i fo i ia i le whasoa mai fo e la tali malona ia fo i loa. I saw some of the paintings. I've yet to see you paint an animal.
I think I used to paint horses when I was.
Oh, horses.
Yes, but I haven't.
Oh, I see the dog behind you, the man with the dog.
Oh yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, lo atulava la le foi stai si Falafaule sa fa pena foi ona value le atari. Tala, we're almost done. Part of this program ties to tourism, and one of the reasons is that we don't have tourists anymore. COVID-19 has disrupted most of our lives. And then we try to go out to the community and encourage people, artists, homemakers, people who do ulas, people who do flowers, arrange flowers, to continue what they're doing, because we don't know when we're going to open the borders, but when we see the work that you're doing, it's very encouraging, and we thank you for taking the time to sit down with us and do this. Hopefully, when the tourists, um, when we open up the borders, do you think you would like to have your own exhibition at the museum for?
Yes, that would be like I would love that. That would be a nice.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Because I see here a lot of people would like to purchase some of your work, but olesi na Samoa tato autua tato pokalama o na fo yo ne fo pokalama o sa ne fo tato officer turisi. Ia o tato vai fo ile tele fo ile mafatia lo ye nei taimi ona wale ye fo ni se ta fa mai tono tato watu no. Ia ma wa tele foi la o artisi pe le sunga ia le tali ia tala ne ia wa le foi se me faiona na tu watu fo e ma wai se leni ia po se so swani foi ile take me foi le nei ia ai lewo falo mo atu ia mana o e fai sala exhibition ia pe a fa pe foi to te tala ia meli ia ma lele foi ia se ia mai foi ia turisi ia ma mata mata le tulanga nei Tala, have you ever just think of holding an exhibition sometime soon?
I hope so. Yes, I would hope so to showcase all the artworks and all that stuff to the public. That would be nice.
Okay.
I would like I think a better idea would be like all the artists on island would come together and we would make a big exhibition.
Yes, I thought of that because that was one of the issues we talked about at our office. Because we see some artwork at DDW.
Yes.
We see some of the work that Samoan students did with Ammon Fipulea'ai.
Yes.
And then I see, I don't know if she goes to your school or if she's a friend of yours. She's starting to draw like you.
Daisy May.
Daisy
May.
Okay.
She helped me with the big mural for our school.
But we'll probably take your suggestion to bring all the artists together and see if we could do an exhibition. And then also bring some of the old artists. I don't know if you've heard of Yosua Tofa. Yeah, he used to teach art many years ago. Some of his artwork was displayed at the old Bank of Hawaii in Utule, at the governor's office. It was a different kind of artwork, but yours is, I mean, every artist has a different sense of perception. We also had Sau Wellingtone. These were some of the people that worked with the arts program back then. And then, of course, Auntie Reggie, and she's still around. Yeah, I've tied it to Olo to Amape Faine Talini. You have brothers and sisters?
I have sisters too. I have two sisters. Yes.
And they are
Tessa and Tala.
Do they help you out with that, or are they a distraction to you?
No, they actually they help out sometimes on the things and stuff. They're very helpful to our business and stuff on that side of the equation. You know.
And then talk about your parents.
Yes, they are very supportive of my artwork and all that stuff. They also help sometimes when I don't have money to buy the canvas. They buy the canvas for me. And my mom actually, she helped.
The canvas, I don't know how much the canvas is today. Because I remember this ranging one time.
Well, actually, this is like 30, but this size is $30 at Ace.
You buy the canvas from Ace, right?
Yes.
So it's like what, 20 yard or a foot?
36 inches by
36.
24 inches. Yeah.
So let's say if you want a particular painting, you give them the dimensions and they'll cut it out?
No.
Or do you?
So at Ace they have particular sizes that they come in.
Oh.
Yes. And also GIS, and SAP, they were able, one time when we were doing the class, they were able to help, they gave us some canvases for free to help with the painting class with the money. So that was very nice. I was like, but Ace didn't really, so suspicious.
Yeah, le o tātou whaafonga mai ia o mātua lava e mori atu whaateitere lava I le sumaya Manny, pape foi le tina ia Maria, lana fuaina, ia mo le whaanoa foi o le nei maota matano fie, tu isa o ina tuaita tu pokalama, ia ai me se foi le nei sera pa ato tato mai mua mai e nei tai ao, e mo le tuai foi le whaaftai I le ainga atoa, ia awa foi le talia ina tato pokalama. Manny, we're coming to the closing part of our program. You have a few words to say before we close?
Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to present my artwork and the gift that I have to everyone.
Ia Samoa e me se foi la tau lo mai mo mai tatu ko kalama. O le atali ina ia Tala Arts fuaina ia malana ngā luenga foi a se mea no fau fuaina i le tua ia te ia o lau te talo ma lau te talo ia o le afa pena ona ma ia i le atali ia o au nei o Poe Mageo a ia i se upu wa sala o wale tonu foi ia wha maanga lo mai o nei o na Yesu sa fua.